Now, you spoke a lot about all the different challenges you had, particularly when it came to your business and losing it and all those, I guess, failures, if you want to call them that you experienced. What I'd love to know is, in terms of the insider advice you could share with the viewers, what could you give them as advice about how to deal with failure based on the experiences you've had?
I get right back to everything is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When something bad happens, get mad. Get disappointed. Get defeated for 5 minutes. Don't let it linger. And know deep down inside that there is a special gift inside that failure that has been chosen especially for you.
Uh-huh.
That is unique to you in your path in life. And sometimes the gifts that you least want to open, maybe it comes in a brown paper bag, no ribbon, no card, nothing. Sometimes it comes in smelly, wet newspaper. Sometimes it's not wrapped at all.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you're crying so hard that you have trouble focusing on this darn gift that you've been given.
Right.
Believe me, I cried plenty when I lost my company. But Greg, do you know, I realized today that if I hadn't lost my company, I wouldn't have achieved some of the inner calm and inner peace that I have today.
Mm-hmm.
We used to rush up to this beautiful little cabin on this lovely little lake on Friday nights and rush back on Sunday nights. And I used to say to my husband, someday I would really like to spend a month at that cabin. And it seemed like an impossible dream, because I had so many responsibilities, and I was producing 700 to 1,000 styles every year, designing, creating them, and getting them manufactured. And I was running on adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And today I live here.
Incredible.
So I guess it wasn't possible for me to have both that high-powered career and what I needed to feed my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So losing the company, when the bank called our loan, I knew by then that everything was a gift. I shared that with my audiences as a public speaker. Now I was being tested. If you really believe that, where is the gift in this?
Uh-huh.
And so I might have spent more than 5 minutes. But I made it. My husband and I and some of our very loyal employees set about to convert that into something positive as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I realized is that I had achieved my goals. After being in business for 34 years, you can't very well say that I was a quitter.
No, not at all.
I had way more successes than I had failures, and I thought, well, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail big. and open up this world of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And relieve myself of this responsibility for other people and start thinking about my responsibility to my family, myself, my health, and to the sense of calling that I had to advocate on behalf of First Nations people, and to be able to focus more on that, and to feed my need to be creative, but not by having to have 150 employees to do it, So I feel in many ways that my life has come full spiral.
Uh-huh.
I don't say full circle because we never come right back to where we started.
No.
But it's like, I feel like life is a series of spirals.
Yes.
We can come back and look down upon something in our past
That's correct.
and see how this thread has connected everything in our lives.
Uh-huh.
How basically thread has connected everything in my life and continues to be an important part of my life. But I'm in a different circuit now.
Wow. That's an incredible amount of insight. And I completely agree with you with the idea of, I guess, coming full spiral.
Full spiral, yeah.
Part of my belief system, part of what I've learned in human behavior, is that you're absolutely correct. We never come back to the place we started at. We do go in concentric spheres, but those spheres just keep going up and up and up, and they go towards.
That's my idea. Have you been reading my mind?
We're just on the same wave. We're just on the same wavelength.
Well, Carl Jung talks about the collective unconscious.
Correct.
And that's where people from, you were around the other side of the world, right, when you were figuring all this out, and I'm here, how two people in geographically completely different parts of the world can actually be conceiving the same thoughts.
Absolutely.
So this idea of a spiral, as a matter of fact, I once did a business plan, and I presented it to my bank, and my visual for it was a spiral.
Right.
I got to tell you right now, don't ever show a spiral to a bank. But so you get what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
And you don't want to spiral out of control. Like, you don't want to go so high that you're going to go into a stall.
Of course not.
You can go in wider circles, go in narrower circles, but you never repeat the same path. You can do a dipsy doodle and go back and revisit, and then, it's fascinating. Wow, what a great conversation, Greg.
It's certainly been amazing, and personally, I have learned a significant amount from you in the very short period of time that I've known you, and the very few conversations that we've had, and this one included. And I just wanted to thank you so much for answering the questions that I've asked today, but also for providing your own insight and your own elaborations and your own storytelling ability to add into what you've experienced and what you've learned. I think for me, that was one of the things that really captivated me at your talk, was the way you told your story. And there was only one question that you had to answer really for this talk, and the way you spoke about it in your 10 or 12 minutes that you spoke was so captivating that when I decided to do this interview, and even when we did a little bit of prep on this, and the way you expressed it in more of a story than in answering questions, because you answered my questions anyway, I found it more compelling, and thankfully you've done that again.
Right? It's non-linear.
That's correct.
Like, linear is A, B, C, D, and
correct.
Non-linear is more of a circular thing.
Correct.
And it covers the whole alphabet eventually.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you've done.
Yeah. Well, that's the way my mind works. And I think a lot of people's minds work that way. And the good thing is that we need all kinds of minds. Guess what? All the people that worked for me, none of them were like me. Mm-hmm. Because if everyone was like me, we wouldn't have gotten anything done.
Of course not.
So it's about bartering talent.
Correct.
I have an instinct to build things. Other people have instincts to make procedures,
Uh-huh.
to document,
Mm-hmm.
to research, to fact find, and to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
I needed those, or my company would have been in chaos.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's not about saying, oh, well, I'm so great and the whole school system should be changed to accommodate me. No, not at all. It has to be inclusive of everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because I can only be successful if I am in partnership, in community with people who do well in school,
Absolutely.
who are good at math, who created a what's the word I'm looking for? A structure within which I could be my unique self.
Well, that's incredible.
So it's about celebrating all of us, celebrating everyone.
I totally agree. And one of the mandates of my business is collaborative effort, is working together in unity, and not just kids working together in collaboration with one another, and in terms of their differences, as well as their similarities, but also adults and children working in collaboration with one another. It's something I feel is lacking on the planet at the moment, and I believe we have a lot to learn from kids.
Okay, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Why don't we have people learning together?
Mm-hmm.
What is this all about? Where we separate the young kids from the older kids, and the adults and the elders. I mean, elders in the Native First Nations culture are to be respected and honored for their knowledge and wisdom. And in First Nations culture, if somebody is homosexual, that's called being two-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
And it is honored. It is a real prestigious thing if you're two-spirited in traditional Native culture.
Right.
Because it means that you have the spirit of a man and a woman.
Right.
Now, Christianity and religion and a lot of the missionaries that have gone to the northern communities up around Red Lake have, don't hold that belief, don't share that belief.
Correct.
And so it's caused a lot of pain for those people. And so I just really feel that it's all about accepting who our differences, accepting that we have different ways to approach life.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And I am so grateful that there are people like yourself in this world who are willing to stand up and really challenge the status quo out there. I think it's necessary. I think that the world is really starting to change and move in a different direction. And my personal belief, which is the reason why I developed this business, why I'm starting to grow this business, is I personally believe that the next generation of children and the ones to follow really have the ability to help us change the way we see life. I've been seeing it for the last year and a half or 2 years since kids have really started come center stage.
Yeah.
And no longer are kids just this single genius or the single prodigy that just pop up every so often. Because now there are kids out there who are just your everyday kid, but are expressing their inner genius in their own unique way. And I think that's...
I believe everybody has genius in some area.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's how do you find that, I have 2 daughters, and so they grew up in this family, in this environment, and I believe that they have life skills that make them really valuable members of teams and companies and society, because they have a worldview that is not narrow. They have a worldview, and many people have crossed my doorway, passed through my doorway, that they have met, and that's what it's about. It's about community,
Absolutely.
And one other thing I just wanted to mention to you is that I believe that in the same way that you and I met through divine appointment, that I have met many people through divine appointment that have encouraged me, propelled me, pushed me sometimes, or guided me along this path that I'm on. And I would like you to meet some of those people.
I would love to.
Yes, because I believe that maybe that's one of the things that I could do to help you and push you and propel you on this path, is to connect you up with other people that can expand and fill in the gaps and fill in some of those pieces of the puzzle in the middle that will complete the picture for you. And I look forward to doing that. So maybe we'll meet up here at my lake.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to doing that. Absolutely look forward to doing that.
Would you like to see the lake?
Yes, please.
Okay, so at the risk that this might be pixelated, I'm going to take you around. I'm going to open the door.
Wow. That actually looks beautiful. It's very clear.
Yeah, that's the lake I jumped in this morning, right off that dock. Can you see the dock?
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And this is our cabin that we're going to tear down and rebuild.
Fantastic.
And this is our sauna over here that's not going to come down, but this is where we have a real Swedish sauna. And then we get all warm in the sauna, and then we jump in the lake.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm going to say goodbye to you now, Greg.
Cool, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the time that you gave me.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Linda.
Bye.
Bye.